SEC Network, we've got a good one for you here. Two teams looking to measure themselves here in the non-conference portion of the schedule as the Clemson Tigers have made the short trip down Interstate 85 to Athens to take on the number 11 Georgia Bulldogs here on the SEC Network. Last year's matchup in Clemson was a good one. It was a late inning big hit from Clemson that gave the Tigers the win over Georgia and the series lead. We'll talk about that one here in just a second. We welcome you high atop Jack Turner Stadium here in Athens. Caleb Frady, Mary Wilson, Avan, excited to be back for another season of softball here. Talking with both coaches earlier this week, these are two programs that are kind of in flux right now, still figuring themselves out here early in the season. Tonight will be a big measuring stick.
Yeah, neither of these teams have really hit their stride, and so it's really going to come down to who's going to execute in the circle, at bat, all the things.
We go back and talk about this series history. This is a young series, obviously, with Clemson's program being so young, and this is a Clemson team that won last year in Clemson. The home team has won every game in the series, which is an interesting thing. Adds a little bit of pressure here tonight for Georgia to hold serve.
Yeah, both teams definitely know the trend is happening, so the pressure's on even higher to really execute. Absolutely.
Been a good series. Clemson's been a postseason frequent visitor since the creation of the program, and getting the start for Georgia in the circle here this evening is Randy Rolling, and Georgia's pitching staff has been a little bit up and down here early in the season. Going to be crucial for her to have a good start here tonight.
Absolutely. We're going to be looking for Randy Rolling to really come out strong, getting ahead in counts, using her vertical pitches where she shines the most consistently, getting those strikes.
Batting 9 for the Tigers here tonight, 10-5 here on this young 2026 season. The Jamison Brockenbrough, Mac Pavesi, and Julia Noller getting the top three spots in the lineup here to get things started tonight for the Tigers. A little SEC-ACC battle at 2 after the top of the hour. That one misses for a ball, 1-0 the count. .293 hitter. This one pulled foul, 1-1 the count. Of course, Clemson being so close to the state of Georgia. A lot of Georgians on this Clemson lineup here this evening. Quite a bit of orange in the stands here in Athens as the 1-1 misses on the outside half, 2-1. Cameron Ellison calling the balls and strikes behind the plate this evening. Robert Guest is at first, and Donald Brown works third base. Three and one. Well hit, the 3-1 sent to center field. That one's over the glove of the center fielder. Will bounce off the wall. Sliding into second base is Jamison Brockenbrough. And a leadoff double gets the Tigers going here in the first.
That was a really well-hit ball, dead center. Delaney Sullivan does do a good job. She tracks that backwards, realizes it's going to be over her head, and plays it off the wall nicely to where there's almost a play at second there.
Good toss in to make it interesting. And the first pitch is sent to right field. That ball is a home run. That one is gone off the bat of Mac Pavesi. Took a moment for the umpires to watch it go fair or foul, and it's a 2-run shot in the first for the Tigers.
We talked about that trend earlier, and you can tell that the Clemson Tigers are coming out strong. They want to break this trend and beat Georgia in their home territory.
First pitch.
It was teed up.
You watch our home plate umpire, Cameron Ellison, eyes right down the line to watch it. Tough to tell from our angle here. We're a little offset from the line. But boy, it's got the Clemson contingent fired up here in Athens, and a big swing at that one by Julia Noller. from a pitching perspective, not the start Georgia was looking for.
No, definitely not. You started out with a 3-1 count with that first batter. And then she gets a strong hit because you're forced to, throw a strike that is a little bit meatier in that situation, so you're not walking your leadoff. And then an attempt to get that strike zone back, unfortunately tees one up.
Off the end of the bat, back to rolling. She'll overhand to first for the out. And that is a much needed out defensively for Georgia here in the first.
Sometimes a home run is good because it can kind of reset your defense, your mindset when you're on defense and in the circle.
We talked with John Ritland. One thing he mentioned was with their hitting, aside from being aggressive with pitches in the zone, they get trouble when they chase. You go back to Rockenbro's at bat, the 3-1, being patient, not chasing, gave her an opportunity to really get into something in the zone.
Absolutely. She, hitters call it waiting for your pitch and commanding your zone, and she certainly was able to do that and get that 3-1 count so that she could get a little bit meatier pitch.
And on the flip side, one thing that Tony Baldwin talked about is they have to control the strike zone, and you saw what happens when you don't. 0-2 is chased after upstairs. Bro is retired on strikes, 2 away.
And commanding the strike zone is something that the Dogs have struggled with year after year, but that was a really solid pitch. It moved straight through the zone. She thought it was coming teed up for her, and it was not. It was going to move right past her bat.
First strikeout of the game here for Randy Rolling. Here is Marion Collins. 435 hitter. They've got some good hitters in this Clemson lineup.
They sure do.
Patient there, 1-1 to count. Sophomore. Right there in the middle of that lineup with that 435 in the 5 spot.
When we spoke with Coach Rittman, actually earlier today, he mentioned that even though she's young, she has become a real leader on their team and someone that the girls can look up to.
Something, it was interesting to hear him talk about the makeup of his team. Lost a lot of talent off last year's team. They're a fairly young bunch this year, just 2 seniors. But those younger players that have not been around the program for long have already filled that leadership. Not really a void, but they've filled those spots. Swinging a miss for strike 3, back-to-back strikeouts. Will finish the inning for Georgia defensively, but a 2-run home run off the bat of Mac Pavesi gives Clemson a 2-0 lead. Manis in the circle here for the Clemson Tigers, a right-handed junior from Woodruff, South Carolina, bringing a 2.53 ERA and a 4-2 record into the matchup here this evening. Line on her here this season. First one to Kirsten Roos, a strike 0-1. Georgia looking to answer back here in the bottom half of the first. Roos, Lonnie Sullivan, and Sarah Gordon, you see, outscoring opponents 136 to 57. Georgia, as always, capable of putting a lot of runs on the board. In the dirt, too. Talking with Tony Baldwin earlier this week, talking about his team, learning how to compete. And he talked about how, early in the season, some of the non-conference opposition you play, you may not get the stiffest competition. And they're going to say she went around. That one will get away from the catcher. And that is going to put Roos at first base. the leadoff runner aboard for Georgia.
It's a good situation. I mean, I'm pretty sure that neither one of them really knew what was going on, as we were also looking at here at the booth like, what is happening?
Wait to see some sort of a call there, and Clemson infield's going to come together and talk it over. Tony Baldwin out to talk with his hitters, but we'll get another look at it. That one just scoots right by the catcher.
Yeah, the bat got in her eyes maybe a little bit. Pitch was off its location a little bit. And you end up getting a situation that Roos takes advantage of, absolutely.
Georgia aggressive. A little bit of gift from Clemson there, but you'll certainly take it. But he talked about his team having to learn how to compete a little bit. You may not get the stiffest competition early in the season. And one thing he talked about in the Clearwater tournament is that's some really good competition. The team had to learn to kind of put some stuff together. And you're probably going to have a little bit of that here tonight. And already down 2-0 going to the bottom of the first, kind of get tested a little bit early. Yeah,
in that Clearwater Invitational, that is where you're going to face your toughest competition. Year after year, that is a really competitive invitational, and that's you're going to face your toughest competition of the kind of pre-conference season during that time. And so they definitely competed during that invitational, and then they continued on and have lost it a little bit, haven't had that steady fight in them. So they're still tweaking, still learning how to compete steadily.
Went 5-1 there in Clearwater as the 1-2 fouled off the end of the bat of Sullivan. Lost a 1-run contest to Oklahoma State. And then defeated Nebraska, NC State, Central Florida, Northwestern, and Duke. To short. Second for one. Will be a fielder's choice as Sullivan will reach. Takes out the lead runner, one away. And here's Sarah Gordon.
Next, the catcher represented, Sarah Gordon.
Gordon hitting .543 here this season. She has been so good for Georgia offensively. That's a big cut there, 0-2. Back to the catcher. This one will bounce off the glove. Everybody's going to be safe. And Georgia's got 2 on with 1 out. After the shot by Gordon, back to the pitcher. Waiting to see if they were going to come out and check on her. They're not. Those shots like that are tough to handle. Tyler Ellison, the senior, 455 here on the season. Really hot start for her to get this 2026 campaign going. Tony Baldwin's been really happy with her here so far.
And she's a player that year after year, she has had incredible growth. You have seen her kind of start in a non-starting position. She worked her way into the lineup, and now she's really killing it in the middle of this lineup, being an impact player for the Dogs.
When you've got that many bats that can do things, you can move Ellison around in that lineup. And you talked about Emily Digby batting in that 8 spot. She's not an 8-spot hitter, but she's hitting the ball so well. You can put a lot of pressure on the bottom end of the lineup, putting her down in the 8 spot the way she swings the bat.
Yeah, it definitely brings a little spark to the bottom of the lineup as well.
In the dirt, and with 1 out, the bases are going to be loaded here for Georgia. Fielder's choice single and a walk here, the last 3 batters for Sierra Manis. Here's Jaden Goodwin. Goodwin, a slow roller to third, over to first for 1. That'll get the out. That'll score a run for Georgia, and the Dogs on the board here, 2-1.
That was a good defensive choice in that situation. It's a little bit of a slow roller. You're probably not going to get that out at home. Plus, you have the advantage when it comes to runs. So getting a for sure out at first is definitely the way to go.
Gabby Novickus, freshman from Chicago. John Rittman coming out of the dugout to talk with his infield here. I think he knows this is a fairly big moment in the game here already in the first. You get the 2. Georgia's already got 1, and still with runners aboard, 1 big hit could really change the dynamic.
It certainly could, and this is probably a strategy moment. It's a, hey, take a breath. We're at the beginning of the game. There's so much game left. There's so much that can happen in the next, 6 innings.
John Rittman has been the program builder since the get-go for Clemson.
It has been so impressive what he's been able to do with such a young program.
Big swing there by Novickus. This one is pulled foul. Novickus behind here, 1-2. Big swing and a miss there for Novickus. A big strikeout for Sierra Manis. Georgia gets 1 back here in the bottom half. A 2-1 game here after 1. Second inning here in Athens. Clemson and Georgia here in the midweek matchup. What has become an annual matchup between these two programs, and the first pitch going to be lifted to shallow left field and will drop in for a base hit by Kylie Chanel. Didn't even have a chance to introduce her to you as Chanel, the junior, hitting .295, getting aboard, a leadoff hitter getting aboard.
She got just enough of that to lift it over the shortstop's head. And that is one of the most frustrating hits as a pitcher.
It's not hit hard.
No.
It's hit to just the right spot.
Yeah, it's just the perfect spot to where your incredible defense can't get to it.
Here's Corey Hicks. We're in the double 9s. Oh, we'll miss 1-1 the count here to Hicks. Sophomore from San Jose, California, Oklahoma transfer.
That's a shift in programs.
Yes. Big cut there, 1-2. 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, and 8 for Clemson here in the second, with the leadoff hitter already getting aboard. That one comes high. Sarah Gordon quickly up out of the crouch, looking at that runner at first base in Chanel.
Something good about having Gordon behind the plate. She's really quick behind the plate, and she's got an absolute gun.
Lifted to left field, giving chase. Jaden Goodwin just couldn't get there in time. Well hit, back up the middle. That one's going to make it to the outfield. Stop sign being thrown up at third base. Sliding in safely is Chanel. And a powerful single off the bat of Corey Hicks here in the second puts him on the corners with nobody out for the Tigers.
She's able to get a good piece of that. That ball was left probably a ball onto the plate and allowed her to get a really solid hit up the middle and move that base runner.
Clemson in business once again here in the second for the second straight inning. That'll bring up Macy Cintron, sophomore from Cumming, and a Wesleyan school product. One and one to count to the Tiger right fielder, 182 hitter here on the season. One of those hitters that Coach mentioned earlier this week, off to a little bit of a slow start offensively, but offense in general started to really show some signs of life last weekend in tournament action where they swept Baylor.
Yeah, I think both of these teams are definitely showing signs of putting the pieces together, if you will. Connecting the dots both in the circle and, you know, on offense as well.
Off the plate to third. We'll look the runner back over. We'll get the sure out at first. Cintron retired. Now just one away, but runners at second and third. Here's Kylie Johnson. Big cut from Johnson.
When Rolling's off speed is on, that is really going to help her pitches all around. It's going to help every pitch be more effective.
In the dirt, runner's going to come home, and I think they missed her on the initial tag. Able to jump back in front of the plate there was Gordon and get the out.
Yeah, it was probably not quite far enough away for runner to be going in that situation, because you see Gordon can take that ball back herself. It looks like she might have missed her the first time, but either tagged her again for safety purposes or missed her on that first one.
John Rittman having a conversation there with our third base umpire, Donald Brown. I don't know if they will challenge it or not, but nothing going to be discussed, so top of the order here. Oh, now time is called. Tony Baldwin's coming out of the dugout. Liked whatever he was told and quickly went back to the dugout.
Yeah, maybe checking to confirm the call or
make sure there was no conversation around it.
Like, I need to be in this conversation.
So Johnson will stand back in. And it's 1-2. Our second wild pitch of the game by both teams here. Popped up. Will this one get out of play? It will.
So close to a fan catch.
Right in the breadbasket right there, too. I mean, got to make that one. Johnson behind 1-2. In the dirt, bounces, gets away. Clemson's going to think better of it there that time.
You're also in a situation now with 2 outs that it's a little bit riskier than before.
A little surprised that they sent the runner there. I mean, just tells you how big of a game I think both teams view this and how you're going to have to score.
And you're going to have to take chances early, too, which is what they're doing for sure.
Swung on and missed, gets away, and safe at home. That'll score a run. As Corey Hicks comes across and plates it with the runner making it safely to first.
Ball gets away from Sarah Gordon right there. Instead of going to home, she tries to get that runner and is so close. It looks like we may have a challenge.
Tony Baldwin has emerged from the dugout, immediately going over to Robert Guest there at first base. Doesn't look like we do. I thought we were, but
I know, I thought we might.
Jamison Brockenbrough back top of the order now for Clemson. Advance Johnson to second. Brockenbrough doubled on a 3-1 back in the first. Came around to score after the home run by Mac Pavesi. Johnson making it to second there, a stolen base threat here on the season, 5 for 5 coming into the game. Two and one the count here to Jamison Brockenbrough. Another one of those Georgia products, Locust Grove native, Tennessee transfer. The senior has seen a lot of good softball in her career.
It's something that makes the game so much more interesting now. You have these players that are able to transfer from, bigger programs to a different program, to a different coaching style, to a different, environment.
Grounded to second, underhand to first, but Clemson plates another run here in the second, takes a 2-run lead to the bottom of the second. Bottom of the second here in Athens as Tony Baldwin looks on, 5th season as a Georgia head coach, longtime assistant prior to that.
Collectively, he spent a lot of years of his career at the University of Georgia.
Yes, he has. Count 1-1 to Natalie Ray. 7, 8, and 9 for Georgia here in the bottom of the second. Ray, a Covington native, senior. Ole Miss and North Georgia transfer. Swing and a miss. Count runs fully or 3-2. to short, fielded cleanly. And 2 first in time on the 6-3. And Georgia's leadoff hitter is retired here in the second. That'll bring up the 8 hitter, Emily Digby, who we talked about earlier. You see the shortstop there. Kylie Chanel fielding that one cleanly and getting the out. Digby behind 0-1. Back to Chanel at short once again.
The Chanel show.
Very fancy.
Yeah, what a fun last name.
Junior from Keystone Heights, Florida, and a Florida Atlantic transfer.
A lot of transfers on both sides of the ball today.
Bailey Lindemuth. Texas Tech transfer. Speaking of transfers. .222 average here in her sophomore campaign. Grounded out of the reach of the second baseman. And with 2 away, Lindemuth able to reach on the single. And Georgia will turn the lineup card over and go to the top of the order.
Really nice placement of the ball there. It's kind of rare that you have a ball that can get between first and second like that, just because they're typically playing pretty close together.
Kind of like that little bloop to left earlier.
Just a frustratingly perfect spot to hit it.
Wasn't a ton on it. Kind of a slow roller, but just to the right spot where nobody could get there in time.
Exactly.
And Kirsten Roos for the second time tonight.
During the second time through the lineup, Georgia's really going to need to hone it in, control the strike zone from the offensive side of the ball.
Gets a piece there. 2-2. Had a 2-2 count in the first. When she struck out, but the ball getting past the catcher Corey Hicks, allowing her to get to first base on the wild pitch. Was ruled a wild pitch. She was eventually tagged out on a 6-4. On the fielder's choice there by Sullivan, who waits on deck. Outside. And for the second straight at-bat, Roos will reach. And Georgia trying to put a little 2-out rally together.
And it's certainly intentional how Manis has been staying very low in the zone with her pitches, trying to force those ground balls. She knows how much power these Georgia hitters can have, and so any pitches that are up higher are gonna be more outside of the zone.
Lonnie Sullivan. Grounded back to second, underhand toss, and that'll do it for Georgia offensively in the second. And 4 due up here in the third, and leading it off will be Mac Pavesi. Last time we saw her there in the first inning, jumping on the first pitch to right field for her second home run of the season, and giving Clemson at the time a 2-0 lead. Now 3-1 here as we go to the third.
Yeah, in this second at bat, she's probably gonna see more than one pitch, right? But still wanting to take advantage of any pitching miscues that happen.
Pavesi, a freshman. Canton, Georgia, Cherokee High School.
We talked about it earlier. This team is younger. They have a lot of freshmen that are stepping up in these key situations.
A little less drama here this time for.
Only 2 pitches still, though.
Yeah. She knows what she wants to see, and when she sees it, she's swinging the ball. So Pavesi retired. Here's Julia Noller.
When we spoke with Coach Rittman, he described Noller as one of those quiet leaders on the team. She's not going to be super vocal, but the team really looks up to her. She's had a lot of experience and been a really outstanding player for them.
One and one the count here to Noller. Junior from Fort Myers, Florida. And Coach mentioned everybody on the roster he would consider a leader, and it's a good balance if you got your quiets and you got your a little more talkative.
Yeah.
A little bit more wilder, I think was what he said. You got your quiet conservative, you get your wilder talkers, and he was like, everybody's got a role to play.
No, that's absolutely true. And when everyone is playing their role and not trying to do too much, that's when you're going to have really good synergy both on and off the field.
One thing both coaches like about their teams this year is they both said they know when to be serious and focus on business, but when they're not focused on business, a little goofy, a little silly, they like to have a laugh and have a good time.
And that's so good. Every team needs to be able to kind of check out of softball time sometimes.
Up high. And a patient at bat here by Julia Noller has ran the count full. Called strike 3 as Noller is rung up on strikes. That's the second out of the inning.
Randy Rolling has hit this spot several times tonight, and it is paying off now. When you get that called strike, you've proven that you're going to hit that spot.
Grounded foul here by Sarah Bro. And it's funny you say that. I was thinking this morning about, of course, Major League Baseball bringing in the automated ball strike system this year. Pitchers can challenge calls, and I just thought about the art of pitching, maybe not quite what it used to be. There's a swing and a miss there for strike 2. And how, every umpire's got different zones, but if you can be consistent and keep hitting that spot, you may not get that call earlier in the game, but if you can be consistent, prove you're going to hit it, that strike zone may expand over the course of the game.
It absolutely can, but you have to prove yourself almost to the umpire.
A 1-2-3 inning for Randy Rolling. We head to the bottom of the third. 2.5 complete here. We head to the bottom of the third inning in Athens. 3-1. Clemson leading the home standing Georgia Bulldogs. 3, 4, and 5, heart of the order for the Dogs here this second time through. And the catcher Sarah Gordon leading things off, who singled in the first.
With Manis keeping the ball low in the zone throughout the count, these batters are really going to have to place the ball almost through the infield with really well hit, hard hit balls in order to string together some base runners.
Fouled away there, 2-1 to Gordon. Over towards the Clemson bullpen in right field. 2-2. pretty decent crowd showing up here on a Wednesday night. Swing and a miss on the 2-2.
Manis hasn't used that off speed a ton tonight, but that was effective in that scenario. She's expecting something hard and low, and instead she gets a low changeup.
More of that art of pitching we were talking about there. Tyler Ellison taking a strike, 0-1. Goes over the head of Hicks.
Yeah, it seems like the reason she hasn't been using it tonight that much is it might be a little off. You can tell she was trying to throw it, maybe trying a different variation of a changeup tonight.
And therefore a strike, 1-2. Ellison walked on a 3-1 back in the first inning. Pitches here so far. Fouled back into the net. Well hit, just foul there into right field, going opposite. Base is empty here with one away. Swing and a miss for strike three. Back-to-back strikeouts for Sierra Manis.
Really nice pitch there by Manis. She starts that ball on the outer half of the plate, and it is really spinning and just flies right off the corner of the plate.
Here's Jaden Goodwin looking at a strike, 0-1. Quickly behind 0-2, Manis in a groove right here.
I think Goodwin really wanted that first pitch.
Trying to get her chase, she'll watch it go by. Goodwin grounded into a 5-3 sacrifice in the first that scored Georgia's lone run to this point. Just gets a piece there. Well hit back up the middle. That'll drop for a base hit. Jaden Goodwin aboard with her first hit of the evening, a 2-out single. And here's Gabby Novickus.
That is just the kind of ball that I was talking about earlier. Strong, hard hit ball up the middle. That is going to be the way these dogs have to string together some base runners.
Novickus, a .450 hitter on the season. 300 with runners aboard. Struck out to end the first inning. We'll look to avoid doing that again here in the third. An eye by Novickus, 1-2. 2-2. Natalie Ray waits on deck were she to get an opportunity here. Off the plate, this one a slow roller to third and over in time. And that'll do it here for our third inning in Athens. Program here in 2020, the first season, winning the ACC in year number 2. An impressive mark for this program. 5 postseason appearances, 3 super regionals. Of course, the 2020 season cut short by COVID. And what this coaching staff, led by John Rittman, has done has been so impressive. They have become a power in the ACC.
It speaks to the coaching staff, to the talent they had from the ground up. And now you kind of have this new era almost with all these young players coming in and bringing fresh talent to the program.
You got to credit the administration there at Clemson as well. They obviously, if they were going to do it right. Got a beautiful ballpark that they play in. They invested in the program, and it has certainly bared fruit here quickly. Two and one the count here to Marion Collins. Well hit. Roos at second. Over to Novickus at first for the out.
Strong hit ball straight to Roos, but she did a good job handling that bounce when it's coming that fast, just to judge that and be able to still make that play.
There's Kylie Chanel. "17 pitches there back in the first inning for Randy Rolling. 2 runs came across 22 pitches in the second, where 1 more run came across. Was a 12-pitch third inning for her. As the ground ball to third on the 0-2. And to this point, 2 quick outs here in the fourth. She has really kind of settled in here in this fourth inning.
She's definitely getting into her groove, and she's had a lot of innings recently, and so just settling in here and being efficient is going to help in the long run as well.
There's Corey Hicks, the catcher, swinging and missing.
And you can see Randy Rolling's ball is dropping more, it's rising more. There's just more spin on it as she's loosening up, as she's settling in this inning.
Georgia finds itself down 2 here in the fourth inning. Here's Hicks for the second time tonight, behind 0-2. Singleton scored in the second. 314 hitter now on the year. Swing and a miss for strike 3. A quick fourth inning for Georgia. 3-1 game here as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Randy Rolling, and take a look at our 2 starting pitchers here this evening. 7 combined hits, 4 runs. And it's been Sierra Manis who, has walked some pitchers. She's been very efficient the last inning or so. Her pitch count, she hasn't had an inning below 20 pitches to this point. Meanwhile, it's Rolling that's kind of really settled down here.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely want, as you get deeper into the game, you're going to get more tired. You have to be more efficient in order to last those innings.
Grounder back up to Manis, bobbled with it momentarily. She'll get the out. Georgia hit a hot shot back to her earlier in the game that she struggled to field. And a little bobble there on that one, but able to get the out.
The ruling on the field is out at first base. Georgia is challenging that decision, and it's now under review.
So we thought we were maybe going to have a challenge earlier this evening, but Georgia wanting a second look at this one.
And there's a little change with the challenges this year. If the coach wins the challenge this year, they get that challenge back.
Quick one. Or so we thought. Thought they were ready, but still some conversation going on.
I thought that was going to be an easier call than
After
it.
further review, the call at first base has been confirmed. The runner is out. This is Georgia's first challenge.
Georgia rolling the dice there, trying to get that runner. Ended up being a little bit of a closer play than it looked on the field.
I agree.
So Ray retired. Here's Emily Digby. One thing to note here is Sam Minish, the sophomore, is in a catcher now. Minish, a very local product, a sophomore from Hull, Georgia, and Madison County High School. Got a piece there, 0-2. '70th pitch of the game comes high and inside. Digby grounded out on the second pitch. She took a look at there in the second inning for a 6-3 putout. Called strike three here for the second out of the fourth.
Really good job. I mean, really good pitch right there, but a really good framing job by Minish right there to get that called strike. Minish is not someone who is naturally a catcher. She came in playing outfield. She's played outfield for years, but when they lost, so Clemson lost a few strong players last year, one of them being Abby Vieira behind the plate. So, and you obviously have Corey Hicks that transferred over, and that's a strong catcher behind the plate, but it's really hard to rely on one person behind the plate for the entire year. It puts a lot of wear and tear on your body. So for someone like Minish to hop in and say, hey, like, throw me back there, see what I can do, it's a selfless player.
Ground ball in a 1-2-3 inning here. 4 innings are in the books as we go to the fifth. Innings complete as we head to the top of the fifth. It's been a good one here in Athens. A lot of scoring there early. 3 of the 4 runs coming back in the first inning. A 2-run shot by Mac Pavesi gave Clemson an early lead. Georgia got one in the bottom half of the inning. Then Clemson tacked on one more in the second. It's been quiet ever since, but little noise here off the bat of Macy Cintron. And a leadoff hit here in the fifth for Clemson.
We talked about it earlier. The pitcher's probably settling in a little bit here as we get later in the game. But hopefully we'll have some bats fired back up like we saw just there to get some more scoring going.
Ava Wilson, a sophomore from Ackworth, And North Paulding High School, local product here from the Peach State, is going to run at first base here for Cintron.
Looks like we had a little misstep there maybe when she planted, but she seems to be in good spirits there.
Definitely hope that that's all that is.
I can speak from experience that that plant spot is either rock solid or very mushy, like thick clay.
Yeah.
There's kind of
No
no
in
in between.
Take a look there. It's a little damp maybe. Well hit, and they'll sit into left field. Pinch runner going to get stopped at third base. Throw goes home, and a big piece of hitting there by Kylie Johnson to put two in scoring position. Clemson in business here with nobody out in the top of the order coming up.
That is what we're looking for later in the game. You know, we haven't had many hits in the past few innings. Trying to stir the pot almost and get this team fired up. We'll take another look at this again right here. Really strong hit up the line, was able to just get around that inside half of the ball. And when the pressure's on, that throw was a little bit off coming home. Those sort of small miscues that don't have a big impact in that scenario are going to have a big impact as we get further into the season.
A good piece of hitting there by Johnson. She has reached twice here tonight. Here's Jamison Brockenbrough, top of the order for Clemson. 1 for 2 with a double. As the speedy pinch runner, Ava Wilson, is at third base trying to come across for the fourth run. This one's going to be sent to right off the wall. Wilson will score. Getting waved around is Johnson. She'll score easily as the throw goes to second. Clemson plates two more in the fifth, and it's 5-1 Tigers.
The Clemson fans in the stands, although they're outnumbered by Georgia fans, they are loud right now. They're fired up by this Clemson team, scoring runs. Another just strong hit off the wall.
This one down low here to Mac Pavesi. Who has a home run already this evening, and Randy Rolling, we mentioned she had been kind of rocking along. Last couple of innings, 12 pitches, 11 pitches, very efficient, but Cintron jumping on the first pitch, hitting it pretty hard. The 2-0 to Johnson gets driven out to left field, hit hard. As this one is going to be foul. And Brockenbrough crushes the double to right. So not only are they jumping on her quickly, they're hitting it very hard. She's had to pitch a lot lately. You wonder if fatigue's starting to creep in a little bit.
Absolutely, and when that fatigue does start to creep in, the ball is not spinning as much. You can't get the same whip effect.
Macy grounds to second. Much needed first out there for Georgia, but move Brockenbrough even closer. She'll be at third now. Noller to the shortstop. Run will come home and score. And Noller is safe after Emily Digby couldn't get that one clean at short. And Clemson plates another run at 6-1 Tigers.
Yeah, Digby was able to get to the ball. She certainly had the range to get there. It almost looked like it just popped out of the mitt of her glove. And then, but she was able to still make a close play at first, even then.
They're going to give Nomer a single there. And Kennedy Ariel, another local product coming Georgia and South Forsyth High School, will run at first base. And here's Sarah Bro, who might be due. She's 0 for 2 here on the evening. That one gets in there for a strike, 0-1. Aside from the fatigue, this is now the third time through the lineup here for Clemson, so they're continuing to adjust as they see more pitches.
We talked a little bit about technology advancing too. That also speaks to the pregame prep. Clemson has likely seen several games worth of Randy Rollings pitching at this point. And then now getting 3 times through the lineup, just getting that additional look.
Grounded foul. The ability to watch so much film, not only have you've seen a lot of pitches, having watched complete games, you probably kind of get an idea as someone tires, this is what's going to
look
happen.
like. Exactly.
That one comes high.
And you also get a feel for their strategy. What pitches are they calling in certain situations? What are their go-tos when they're down in the count? All of those sorts of things as well.
Chases after that one. She'll strike out for the second time. Does Bro, 2 away. That'll bring up Marion Collins. Foul. Collins 0 for 2. Maybe the one Georgian we haven't mentioned here, the sophomore from Marietta and Mount Perrin Christian School.
You got to think all these local products is why there's such a strong Clemson presence in the stands tonight.
For sure, obviously the short drive down, but a lot of families in the area coming over and getting a watch here this evening. Left field, this one on the fly. That ball is gone! The Marietta product, a 2-run shot in front of the home crowd. And Clemson plates another pair, a 5-run 5th inning. It is 8-1 Tigers.
Coach Ritten talks about how she is a leader, but you have to look up to someone that's getting your team fired up in that situation like that, just showing up in a strong way.
We will have a pitching change as Georgia will go to the bullpen and Destin Howard will go to the circle here for Georgia. And we will reset with the pitching change. For Georgia here in the top of the 5th. As Destin Howard, the senior from Macon, goes to the circle for Georgia, an even 3 ERA. She's 0-1 on the season, has worked 11 2/3, 7 runs, 5 earned.
Howard's going to come in with a bit more speed than Rolling, which can be a difficult adjustment if Howard is hitting her spots and getting those strikes called. So that's definitely something that she needs to be looking to do in this scenario. is getting ahead in these counts.
The 1-1 popped back out of play. Georgia with a couple of defensive changes here with the pitching change as well. Sarah Gordon is going to go to right field for Georgia. Miller will catch here. 1-2 swung on and missed. Howard gets Georgia out of the inning, but it's a 5-run inning in the 5th for Clemson. Sierra Manis in the 5th. You'd see the team comparison here this evening. The one thing that jumps out to me, aside from the hits, obviously the long ball there, Georgia's left 5 on base all early. It's been a little quiet offensively since then. It was a 3-1 game going into this 5th inning, but Clemson's offense exploding. And a good defensive play to get things started as that one hit deep in the hole there on the left side.
If you move those runners that were left on base in, we have a completely different game at the bottom of the 5th.
Yep. We mentioned defensive changes there for Georgia in the top half. Ava Wilson, who pinch ran and scored there in the 5th, stays in the game. She's going to play right field. Georgia with a bit of a hole to dig out of here in the bottom of the 5th. Lonnie Sullivan 0 for 2 on the night. They get 0 for 3.
And you have to commend Manis for how she has commanded the zone throughout this whole game, really, and kept the Dogs off the boards consistently inning after inning. Speaks to, you know, her spin, her location.
And imagine she's got to be feeling pretty loose right here. 3-1 game. Didn't have a really efficient inning until that 4th, where she only threw 10 pitches. Starting to get a little higher up in that pitch count. Get a 5 spot put up in the top half. I would imagine that relaxes you quite a bit. Now back 1-2 the count. Fights this one off opposite field, continuing to fly. It'll go to the warning track where Wilson will track it down. And that'll do it for the Dogs in the bottom half of the 5th. 8-1 as we go to the 6th. Destin Howard there in the 5th got the final out of the inning. She'll get a full fresh inning to start with here in the 6th. As it has been all Tigers here to this point tonight. An 8-1 Clemson lead here as we go to the 6th.
As we're getting later in this game, 3 quick outs is kind of what you need to get the momentum rolling into your at-bats and potentially string together some hits.
Sam Minish now playing catcher. Batting here in the 6th and the 7th spot. Minish from nearby Hull. See some family members standing and watching this at bat. Count evens up here, 2-2. Patient at bat here. 4 minutes, 3-2. .176 hitter on the season. This is just her 18th at bat. Back up the middle. Nice stop in the hole. A good effort there by Emily Digby just to keep it in the infield, but that'll put Minish at first. And an infield single for her. Here's Ava Wilson. Pinch ran. They're back in the 5th. Sophomore from Acworth getting her first at-bat of the evening, .222 hitter on the season. .81 here in the 6th. You know, the one thing I don't know if we really thought we'd be talking about for either team coming into this one, as the 1-1 gets fouled away. Clemson scores another run. Georgia is scoreless in the bottom half. That would be a run rule game.
Yeah, it's definitely not something I expected from this evening. Thought we might be a little bit more evenly matched tonight, but just been a little off. Haven't quite put the pieces together.
1-2 goes outside, 2-2, and of course, we mentioned this, the 6th matchup between these two all time. Home team has won every meeting coming into tonight. Clemson leading the series 3-2. Clemson may be breaking the streak here tonight as the 2-2 is swung on and missed for a strikeout. Be Howard's first strikeout of this appearance.
And when we talked to Coach Rittman, he said, like, we're learning how to compete, how to fight, how to, you know, do it together. And tonight they have really put the pieces together. You've got Manis really locking down Georgia's lineup.
Yeah.
And offensively, they have taken advantage of some pitching miscues and also just had some really nicely placed balls, some really hard hit long balls.
Just throw down to first. That one gets away. And Gordon there in right field. Came out of the catcher's spot to play right quickly there to get that one back. Left center, this one on the fly. That ball is gone! A 2-run shot by Kylie Johnson. That'll be her first of the season. Clemson is busting it open here in Athens.
Great job to take that low pitch. She's able to get under it just enough, lift it right over the outfield fence. And this team keeps getting more and more fired up with each run. There is no letting up for them.
(10-1) Clemson.
So we're now in that run rule territory that we were talking about earlier.
And has a run to play with here.
Mm-hmm.
And the Clemson fans, as this one a hot shot to second root, doing a nice job to backhand get the stop and the toss out. I wouldn't say that the Clemson fans outnumber the Georgia fans at this point. It's pretty close, and they are most definitely louder.
They're certainly louder.
Some of the Clemson faithful that have made the trip. Ground ball to short. Hard stop. And not in time. That was going to be a real tough play to make.
Digby's had several tough plays tonight. She's really shown her range tonight, but it hasn't always worked out her way where, you know, there's a slow roller, maybe an awkward, you know, reach for something. But she's really done a good job at not letting that ball through the infield.
This one fouled away opposite. That one, a tough one, staying on her feet the entire time, her whole momentum pulling her towards foul territory, having to stop, set, and try to throw. That's a tough play for anybody to make.
Oh, it sure is. And you can tell at the end she was at the point at the ball where she didn't know whether she needed to backhand it or go at it regular. And she ended up just going for it, but you still have to stop and change your momentum and try to make that throw.
Check swing there as that one bounces. And they got a piece of her there on the bounce. One and two the count. Swing and a miss for strike three. We go to the bottom of the sixth. Go to the bottom of the sixth, and Georgia needing a couple of runs here to keep this game going to the seventh and go the full distance. Off the glove of the shortstop. And Chanel, they're in time, but that one just kind of rose enough to get off the top of the glove. That's just the fourth Georgia hit of the night. And I was thinking about this previous inning when you were talking about Manis and how she's really been able to control this Georgia offense. Just the fourth hit. And when you look at how the hits have been scattered, one hit first, one hit second, one hit third, Georgia's unable to kind of string anything together tonight. Lifted up, this one high and into the night, Athens sky. Johnson will pull it in, one away.
Almost had a chance to get two runners on there. With how high that ball went in the night, you have the dark sky plus the lights being so bright. Room for error there. But Johnson was able to hold on to it.
Goodwin retired. Here's Novickas, who is 0 for 2 on the night.
So pressure's on here now for the Georgia Bulldogs. And sometimes that's not the best thing. You start playing a bit more tense, which doesn't help your timing. It doesn't help your synergy. But if the Dogs can get some momentum right here, they can start to loosen up and really just get in the groove to stay in this ball game.
Yeah. I would imagine that's kind of mission one. Just get on base, string something together, get two to extend this game and at least go the distance here tonight. Aside from this shaping up to be the first win by the road team in the series history, if you're Georgia, you don't want to get run with the opponent. If you're Clemson, what a win.
Yeah,
this is
what
a
win.
big win. And again, Coach talked about it. Thought his team started to kind of evolve a little bit over the weekend. Tough non-conference schedule for these Tigers. Beat Oregon 6-5 early in the season, beat a top 25 Liberty team as well.
They can get a win right here, take a bit of momentum into this next weekend, and maybe start stringing together their stuff more consistently.
Tiger Invitational this weekend for Clemson have Wofford, Georgia Southern, Mississippi State, who's off to a red-hot start in the SEC. Marissa Miller. Watches that one go 2-0. Just misses 3-0.
That looked like a pretty pitch, but the previous two pitches from Manis had been further outside and lower as well.
That one gets in there for a strike. Manis looking to go the distance here this evening. Swing and a miss, strike two, full count here. Clemson trying to win as the road team for the first time in the series. The full count payoff pitch will be in the dirt. And Georgia remains alive here with two away runners at first and second now.
If you're Manis in this situation, you're not stressed about this, right? You have a lot of run support to play with. And so you're really just trying to make the Dogs reach outside of the strike zone and hit your pitches rather than you throwing to their strike zone.
Ray will run for Miller at first. There's Emily Digby 0 for 2. 100 pitches, now 101 for Manis. Still some good zip on it. Swing and a miss, strike two. Manis on the 0-2. Clemson fans wanting that call to get out of here.
They do. They want it bad.
Continuing to scrap there in the box.
Yeah, you've got to stay alive in this situation no matter what. And that is a pitch that is at risk for being called a strike if you let it go by. So even if it's not your pitch that you want to take far.
Swing and a miss for strike three. Clemson will run rule Georgia here in Athens. And in the first time in series history, the road team getting the victory as Clemson gets it done here tonight, 10-1. Impressive performance here tonight from Sierra Manis in the circle. That Clemson offense really woke up here this evening.
No, absolutely. It was a really good mix of your defense and your offense. Sierra Manis really locked down the Georgia offense and was able to really control them more than they have been a lot this season. And then you had the bats coming alive and taking advantage of small miscues here and there from the Georgia pitchers.
Clemson moves to 11-5 on the season. Georgia falls to 13-5 on the Young 2026 season. For our entire SEC Network crew, appreciate them bringing the sights and sounds from Athens. And for Mary Wilson, I'm Caleb. So long from Athens. Clemson a winner over Georgia, 10-1.